You committed to the money, you committed to the fame. The Torah like menorah, cause it's lit just like a flame. You committed to the money, you committed to the fame. The Torah like menorah, cause it's lit just like a flame. Hey, kingdom is eternal, lake of fire and inferno. Matthew 7:23, a permanent deferral. The wrath of Yahuah, that's a turbulent dispersal. Haters never can say I heard you with commercial. Said no to no labels, ain't no demons in my circle. And people say they love you when they scheming just to hurt you. And I can see them demons, they misleading and deceiving. When Yahuah coming back, he gon' leave them demons grieving. You committed to the money, you committed to the fame. The Torah like menorah, cause it's lit just like a flame. You committed to the money, you committed to the fame. The Torah like menorah, cause it's lit just like a flame. You committed to the money, you committed to the fame. The Torah like menorah, cause it's lit just like a flame. You committed to the money, you committed to the fame. The Torah like menorah, cause it's lit just like a flame.
You committed to the money, you committed to the fame. I'm committed to Yahuah. Nah, baby, we not the same. We in two different lanes. Yeah, I'm on that narrow path under the shadow of Yah. Only place safe from his wrath. You sell your soul for a bag, that's the same as the birthright. All my life I had to fight, and for mine I'll fight all night. In due time we'll be alright. The divine assigned our plight, but the Torah like menorah designed to be our life.
You committed to the money, you committed to the fame. The Torah like menorah, cause it's lit just like a flame. You committed to the money, you committed to the fame. The Torah like menorah, cause it's lit just like a flame.
Hey, youngsters. Hey, youngsters.
Yeah, a war on woke is a war on black. If you black, we are under attack. A war on woke is a war on black. These Republicans will end you and ain't telling you that. A war on woke is a war on black. LGBT now woke, it has been hijacked. A war on woke is a war on black. If you black, we are under attack. I don't believe in this system, slay that Democrat donkey. And these liberals still hate us and they calling us monkeys. How you claim Black Lives Matter, still pushing abortion? Joe Biden giving money for reparations to foreigners. Kamala Harris only black when it fits her agenda. And Obama been a yeah, he's sweeter than Splendor. They only support black lives if you're gay. They monetize our oppression, they the KKK. Don't be fooled by their tactics, they covertly some racist. White supremacy hides between swarthy black faces. Don't be fooled by their tactics, they covertly some racist. White supremacy hides between swarthy black faces. A war on woke is a war on black. If you black, we are under attack. A war on woke is a war on black. These Republicans will end you and ain't telling you that. A war on woke is a war on black. LGBT not woke, it has been hijacked. Ayo, a war on woke is a war on black. If you black, we are under attack. The Republicans are really white supremacist Nazis. Calling out racism doesn't make me a commie. Make America great means enslave all the Negroes. They would love to fill every single grave with a Negro. If we don't know history, we are doomed to repeat it. They think black history don't matter and our children don't need it. European history, we are forced to read it. They want to bring back slavery, you don't want to believe it. Yahuah is king, screw these Edomite heathens. And the lineage of evil swims in the blood of these demons. Yahuah is king, screw these Edomite heathens. And the lineage of evil swims in the blood of these demons. A war on woke is a war on black. If you black, we are under attack. A war on woke is a war on black. These Republicans will end you and ain't telling you that. A war on woke is a war on black. LGBT not woke, it has been hijacked. A war on woke is a war on black. If you black, we are under attack.
In this crooked game of power politics here in America, the Negro, namely the race problem, integration, civil rights issues, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans. The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberal and conservative camps. The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal. And white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives. The American Negro is nothing but a political football.
Hey, Yaxer.
ready to go. Hit the like button for sure. Yeah, you already know. Dun 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 dun.
Hey everybody, Shabbat Shalom, all praises to the Most High Yahuah. It's your boy Yexer, back with another episode. Shabbat Shalom, hope you guys are well. All praises to the Most High Yahuah, always and forever. He who reigns above us, creator of all things, our Father Yahuah, and also giving all esteem as well to Yahusha Hamashiach, the coming King, our Redeemer, the Lamb that shed his blood before the foundation of the world, that we may be restored back to Yahuah through Yahusha. Hope you guys are well. It's good to be with you guys here. The start of the Shabbat. So all praises. I kind of want to try to do more shows. You know, the start of Shabbat, and then of course, obviously, we'll be doing a show tomorrow too. We're going to be looking deeper at Deuteronomy 28. I told you I'd have to break that down in the episode, so we're going to be doing that tomorrow too. I know I don't have a video up, but when I'm done with this study, I'll have it ready for you guys, and we'll probably go live tomorrow around probably like 2 p.m. So hope you guys are well. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the moderators and everybody. So let's jump into this. Go ahead. So let me pull this up here. So the question is from my blog here. Are we all made in Yahuwah's image? Okay, now I know that a lot of people think we are. And I hear a lot of Negroes saying we're all made in, you know, those who don't really know the truth, or, you know, maybe they're Christians or whatever the case might be. But I've even seen some people in this truth say this, and this is not true. Okay, that is not an actual fact. Okay, you got two types of people right here. Okay, you've got the Negroes, melanated people, and you've got the Caucasian. Okay, we're going to look at the scriptures. We're going to look at some other evidence here, and we're going to find out if everybody is made in Yahuwah's image, because I'm going to tell you we've been lied to, all right, as with most things, right? So let's look at these scriptures here, okay? So first, let me scroll in here. All right, so the first thing I want you guys to understand with these Abari words is the word Adam, okay? Adam means man, mankind, or human being. So whenever you see in the scripture, it says, you know, man, that doesn't necessarily refer to as the male, but mankind in general, or a human being. So sometimes when it says men or man, that can refer to mankind. So that also includes the woman, okay? And in certain instances, obviously, there's gender roles when it comes to Yahuwah, Yahusha, but I'm just saying sometimes when you see the word man, it's just referring to mankind in general. And then the next word here is Adamah, okay? Ad, Aleph, Dalet, got a visible Aleph right here. You've got the Mom and you got the Ha. Adamah, okay? And that gives us the word ground, okay? So just a simple starting point. Now let's look at this in Barashith, or Genesis 1, 26 through 27. We can understand who was made in Yahuwah's image by the individuals that were created by him in the beginning in the garden. Once we understand who these people were that he created, then we know who's made in his likeness, because I beg to differ. Not everybody is made in his image, okay? That is not true. That is not, you know what I'm saying, the actual truth of the scriptures. And let's take a look, and I'm going to show you. So this is Barashith, or Genesis 1, 26 through 27. And Yahuwah said, let us make man according to our image and our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish in the sea, and over the flying creatures of the Shamaim, and over the cattle, and all ha'arats, the earth, and over all reptiles that creep on the earth. And Yahuwah made man according to the image of Yahuwah. He made him, male and female, he made them. Okay, now some people like to say that what's written in Barashith, or Genesis 1, contradicts what you find in Barashith, or Genesis 2. But what people fail to understand is chapter 2 is just a reiteration of what's mentioned in chapter 1. That's why it goes through the whole creation again. It goes through, oops, let me put my phone on mute, my bad, y'all. That's why it goes through the whole creation account again. It talks about the animals. It talks about the plants. It talks about, you know, male and female and all that. Listen, contrary to popular belief, there was nobody here on the earth other than Adam and Eve, or Adam and Kuah. There was nobody else, all right? So don't be listening to people telling you that there were other men and women and children and all these other individuals around the time of Adam and Eve. There was only Adam and Eve at that time. Okay? So, people telling you that, Genesis 1 suggests that there were other people around at the time of Adam and Eve or created before or prior to Adam and Eve. That's not true. Okay? Like I said, Genesis chapter 2 is just a reiteration of what you find in Bereshith or Genesis 1. Okay? So let's keep reading. This is Bereshith, Genesis 2, 7 through 14. And Yahuah formed Ha-Adam, okay, the man, of dust of Adamah, the ground, and breathed upon his face the breath of life, and the man became a living soul. And Yahuah planted a garden where? Eastward in Adon or Eden. Okay, so now we understand Yahuah has created man from the Adamah, the ground, right? Now, once we understand where this location of the garden is, then we can start understanding who he created and who is made in his image. Let's keep reading. And placed there the man whom he had formed. And Yahuah made to spring up also out of the tree, every tree beautiful to the eye and good for food, and the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of learning, the knowledge of good and evil. And a river proceeds out of Adon or Eden to water the garden. Thence it divides itself into 4 heads. The name of the one, Fashum or Pashim or Pashan. This is encircles the whole land of Havilah, okay, where there is gold. Now, one thing we know is Havilah is also one of the descendants of Noah. Okay, but this is talking about a location here. All right. So as we keep reading, we can get more understanding where is this garden, because it tells you where it is and where it's located next to. Once we understand where it was built and where the beginning of the scriptures begin, then we know who's made in his image. Okay, let's keep reading. Verse 12. And the gold of that land is good, and there's also carbuncle and emerald. Okay, and the name of the second river is Gashan. And this is which circles what? The whole land of Ethiopia. Okay? So the Bible begins in Africa. Therefore, where do you find people that are melanated mostly? I mean, of course, we scattered all across 4 corners of earth. I get that. I know that, right? But if the Bible begins in Africa, that means that melanated people are the ones in who his image is based off of. Not Caucasians, not Asians, Asiatic people. And if you're talking about dark-skinned, indigenous Asiatic people, that's still different, okay? But if the Bible begins in Africa, you better believe he made people with melanin in their skin that could survive in such a climate, okay? So when you think about, if you read the book of Adam and Eve, right, they were banished to the Cave of Wonder. Or I'm sorry, not the Cave of Wonders. I'm over here talking about some Aladdin type stuff. That's a lucky. The Cave of Treasures, okay? Now, when you read the book of Adam and Eve, they didn't like it in the Cave of Treasures because it was dark, it was gloomy. It was not some place that they chose to go, right? They were banished there because they were banished from the garden, okay? But they would have been out in the sun, okay? They would have been out in that African sun, okay? Period. Now, we know Caucasians are not indigenous to Africa. So the people that would be made in Yahuah's image would be melanated people that can handle the African climate and heat and sun. So where did Caucasians come from? We're going to get to that in a minute, okay? The people that Yahuah created was the black man and the black woman. Period, point blank. I've even heard people go as far as to say that, Adam and Kua were interracial because she was formed from his rib. She was white and he was black. Like, what? Adam said, flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. So just because she was formed from his rib does not mean that she was the color of his rib. She was a black woman. Remember, Yahuah don't believe in mixing and all these things, and people don't like to hear that, but clearly, right? Clearly, we're talking about melanated people right now, okay? So let's keep going. And I'm going to show y'all something in a minute. And the third river is Tigris, and that which flows forth against the Assyrians, and the fourth river is Euphrates. Now, we see it says Ethiopia right here, okay? We're going to look at another scripture where Yahuah also confirms his children are very similar looking to the Ethiopians. So again, We're talking about melanated people. So let's go to Amos chapter 9, verse 7. Yahuah says, "Are you not as to me as the sons of the Ethiopians, O children of Yasharal, saith Yahuah? Did I not bring Yasharal up out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Cappadocia, and the Syrians out of the deep?" So we have even Yahuah here comparing his children to the Ethiopians. And we understand that Adam and Kua, or who you call Eve, were near the land of Ethiopia. And here you have Yahuah comparing his children, the children of Yasharal, right, to the Ethiopians. These are melanated, dark-skinned, black people. Okay, this is not about white Jews, Caucasians, Asians, Hispanics. We are talking about Negroes here. Okay, let's keep going. Daniel. And of course, I'm giving you the Septuagint version because they want you to believe it said his hair was white like wool. But let's look at the Septuagint. Daniel 7:9. I beheld until the thrones were set, and the Ancient of Days sat, and his raiment was white as snow, and the hair of his head as pure wool. This is describing Yahuah. His throne was a flame of fire, and his wheels burning fire. So I guarantee you, family, if you're looking at your translations, it says his hair was white as wool. That is part of the deception. Because what it should say, we're looking at the original text here, based in the Dead Sea Scrolls, based in our people that wrote, translated it from the Hebrew or the Abari into the Greek, okay? And it says, and his hair was as pure wool. So real quick, let's just look at some woolly hair, all right? Let's just look at that real quick. There's only one people I can think of on this earth that have hair that is very, very woolly in texture, and that is the black man and the black woman. Look at that. This is what Yahuah's hair is described as, okay? Now, I understand that some individuals like to do stuff to their hair and try to get the afro texture, but our hair naturally grows like this, okay? We don't need to do nothing to it. It just grows out of our scalp as such, okay? So when you hear them talking about, oh, it says white like wool, no, it's not white like wool, okay? It says his robe was white, but his hair was like pure wool. Okay, so we can see the Afrocentric, beautiful hairstyle of the Negro, man, woman, and child. Okay, now let's look at sheep's wool. And let's see if we can make a comparison here. Okay, look at that. Woolly. Look at that. Wool texture. That's wool right there. Lamb's wool. Okay, white like wool, pure wool. This would be what you would get. We are talking about Negroes here. Now, if you look at Caucasians, let's look at their hair texture. And you'll see you're not getting woolly. Give me a second. Okay. So let's look at this. Okay. Now, if you look at Caucasian hair, for example, like, well, this is actually an Asian woman, but clearly she's got Caucasian in her. You see how it's straight. Okay. Very, very straight and silky kind of. Okay. Straight hair. All right, look at this Asian man, straight hair. I've even heard people try to tell me Filipinos are Israelites. It's like everybody want to be one of us. It's crazy. But you can see that their hair naturally grows out like this, okay? This is not woolly hair, all right? And I'm just showing you this because I just want to make it plain for people who still in denial about certain things, okay? But this right here is not woolly hair. This is not how Yahuah's hair is described. And yes, he made it clear to put this in the scriptures. So when his children will start waking up, we'd be looking at the scriptures and we start saying, wait a minute, this is describing us. Okay. Now, you guys have already seen my Esau and the Horites documentary. But I'm going to share some information here with you guys that I think you should understand. So I'm going to share with you this first video here. And it's just giving a little bit of history about it in the chat. Lorraine did, right? There were people that were created because of a genetic mutation that took place. A genetic mutation took to come forward of people that weren't originally created by Yahuah. Okay? Yahuah made man, black woman, or black man, he made black woman, and he said it was good. Okay, so that was what he intended, was for this world to be inhabited by Negroid or melanated people. But the Malachim, or the angels, saw that, and they knew what was going to happen, because obviously, right, there was the fallen Malachim that came down, and they mated with the black women, because there would have been black women on this earth at that time, because there were no Caucasians. However, when the fallen angels came down and mated with the black women, that caused a genetic mutation, and that's where you get Caucasian people. That's where you get white skin. Okay, and don't worry, I'm going to show you proof, because science also supports this. Science also says white skin is a mutation. I've got tons of articles proving this. And again, it's nothing against you if you're Caucasian or you're white, right? We can't choose what we are or who we are, right? But it's important that these truths be brought out and made and understood, so that we can kind of come into the truth of what the scriptures are actually revealing to us, okay? So let me show y'all this first video. Let me share my screen. Give me 1 second. I'm going to watch this first video here. It's talking about the okay. All right, here we go. So this is the first video, and let's just watch this, and let's hear what is said in this video.
Ever wondered where different human races come from? Let's dive into this intriguing mystery. In the realm of science, a popular theory often echoes in academic halls and research papers, the out of Africa theory. It posits that all humans, regardless of their current geographic location or racial makeup, originated from our ancestral homeland, Africa. This theory is backed by a wealth of genetic and archaeological evidence suggesting that our most distant relatives sprang from this vibrant continent, spreading out and populating the rest of the world. This leads us to a thought-provoking question. If all humans originated from Africa, where did white people come from? The scientific explanation, as complex as it is fascinating, takes us back around 60,000 years. It was during this time that a group of our African ancestors decided to venture out, migrating to the colder northern regions of our planet. And then something extraordinary happened. These adventurous humans didn't just adapt to their new environment, developing lighter skin to absorb more sunlight and produce the necessary vitamin D. No, according to this theory, they also interbred with entities that were not entirely human. This idea might sound like a plot twist in a science fiction novel, but it's a theory grounded in genetic research. These non-human entities were likely the Neanderthals, our distant cousins who had left Africa far earlier and had already adapted to the colder climates of Europe and Asia.
Now, I just want to say this real quick, family. We know that the earth is not no 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, 2 million years old. So chew up the meat and spit out the bones. We have heathens, okay, that believe in science and everything that we've been told. We follow the Bible. So just chew up the meat and spit out the bones when you hear these, like, extremely exaggerated numbers, okay?
So, in essence, the scientific viewpoint suggests that the diversity in human races today is a result of migration, adaptation, and interbreeding with other hominid species. A fascinating theory, isn't it? But what if there's another perspective to consider? A viewpoint that isn't grounded in genetics and evolution, but in ancient texts and religious belief. Yes, we're talking about the biblical explanation of human race origins. So that's the scientific viewpoint, but let's take a look at another perspective. The biblical explanation. According to biblical accounts, the origin of races takes a different turn. The book of Genesis, in the ancient text of the Bible, introduces us to an intriguing narrative. It speaks of a time before the Great Flood when 200 angels, known as the Watchers, descended upon Mount Hermon. Enamored by the beauty of human
Okay. I don't know what happened. It just did that again. It always does this every time, bro. Every time I do this, y'all see what happens every time, bro. Every time, never fails. But we're back, so all praises. So let's get back to this video, man. Like I said, every time I speak the truth, y'all see what happens. Every time I speak the truth, y'all see it happens every single time. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. But let's get back to it, though. Let's not waste no time. All right. Okay, so let's get back to this video. We'll leave off where we left off. All right, here we go.
Mythical tale is deeply rooted in biblical interpretation and has been a subject of theological debate for centuries. It proposes an alternative explanation for human evolution and diversity. The offspring of these human angelic unions, the Nephilim, were said to be physical giants, but their existence also had a spiritual dimension. They were hybrid beings, a mix of the divine and the human, and their impact on human history was profound. But it's not just about the physical traits. The Nephilim were believed to possess knowledge and skills far beyond what was common for humans at the time. They were the bearers of advanced knowledge in arts, science, and technology, which they passed on to humanity. This exchange of knowledge and culture might have contributed significantly to the advancement and diversity of human societies. However, this narrative also carries an ominous undertone. The intermingling between the divine and human was seen as a transgression, a violation.
You hear that? Now, y'all know how mad Yahuah was when these Malachim did this. Why? Because they corrupted the creation. And what did the Nephilim do? They started mixing animal DNA with other animals and creating hybrid beings. And, you know, Yahuah don't believe in mixing in anything. I don't care if it's mixed fabrics. I don't care if you got brown cows over here and black cows over here. They're not even supposed to be in the same area. Okay, he is distinctive. He's a Yahuah. He is a Lua of distinction and separation and order. Okay, so he don't believe in mixing in anything. So I want you to understand this interracial agenda and all of this stuff is against him. Okay, we only supposed to be with Israelite Negroes, supposed to be with Israelite women. Israelite women supposed to be with Negroes. If you are a Gentile, I'm not saying you can't marry other Gentiles, but that law and that Torah about Negroes being with Negroes is applicable to the Israelites. All right. So if you want to marry a Hispanic or Asian or something like that, hey, that's fine. We're not y'all Negroes, but to the Gentiles. And let's say you find a woman that's Asian or Filipino and you're Caucasian, and you want to marry them, that don't really apply. But it does apply to us. We are not supposed to be marrying these other nations, mixing with these other nations. We are his chosen. We are not supposed to be mixing and giving our seed to anybody but the Israelite woman. The Israelite woman is not supposed to be giving her body to nobody but they married to the Israelite man. Okay, that's just how this works. All right?
Of the natural order. It was one of the reasons given for the Great Flood, a divine purge to cleanse the earth of these hybrid beings and their influence. This narrative gives us a different perspective on the origin of races. But how does it relate to the Neanderthal gene? The Neanderthal gene is a key piece in the puzzle of human evolution, But where does it come from?
There it is.
This question has intrigued scientists, historians, and theologians alike for centuries. According to science, the Neanderthal gene is a remnant from a time when our ancestors shared the earth with other hominids. However, science has yet to provide a comprehensive explanation for its existence. In the quest to understand the Neanderthal gene, we come across a fascinating theory. This theory isn't rooted in laboratories or scientific journals, but in the age-old scriptures of the Bible. It involves a character named Esau and a group known as the Horites, or cave dwellers. Esau, according to biblical narratives, was the elder twin brother of Jacob, who later became the patriarch of the Israelites. Esau was famously known for his red hair, a trait that has been associated with Neanderthals. The Bible tells us that Esau's descendants mixed with the cave-dwelling Horites. Could this mixing of populations have introduced the Neanderthal gene into the...
Yes, it did. So y'all can see, bro, this is a whole nother source of information that ties to what I showed you in the Esau and the Horites documentary. And that video is at about 100,000 views right now. All praises to the Most High. So, you know, this is not just my word, bro. Like I said, I did a lot of research, and I didn't even know about this video when I did the research. It was just my own, you know, personal conductive research that I did to make that movie. But you can see what I told you in that movie is being echoed by what this man is telling you. You feel what I'm saying? This is how you get the serpent seed, because Esau, with his goofy self, mixed with these nasty cave-dwelling Neanderthals called the Horites. And they are a fallen seed, okay? That's why they was living in caves. They wasn't outside. They didn't have melanin. They were something else, okay? Facts.
Human gene pool? The Bible verse Jeremiah 49:10 states, "But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not." Could this spoiling of Esau's seed refer to...
And yeah, you know what? I'm going to just echo what Lorraine is saying. Even if they're grafted in, you still cannot marry them, okay? Don't do it. It is a transgression. I don't care if they grafted in. Yeah, you can be grafted in. You can, you know what I'm saying, be covered by the blood of the Lamb. But that don't mean that being grafted in means you can graft into a man's, you know what I'm saying, a black man's life like that. You know what I'm saying? We still supposed to stick with our people, and that's it. Nobody else, all right? The Gentiles want to marry someone, tell them to go marry another Gentile. Facts.
To the introduction of the Neanderthal gene. As intriguing as these theories are, we must remember that they are interpretations of ancient texts. The Bible, like any other historical document, is open to interpretation. What we perceive as facts today may be understood differently tomorrow. However, the mystery of the Neanderthal gene remains. Science has yet to provide a definitive answer, leaving room for alternative theories and explanations. The biblical account of Esau and the Horites offers one such perspective, a perspective...
Hold on, let me address this person. Kathy, hey sis, Shabbat Shalom to you. That's not the way I understand him. Esau had the seed within him when he was born, and that's why Yahuah hated Esau, yes or no? No, he wasn't, because if you understand, Esau was originally the child of promise, okay? He originally was who had the birthright because he was the firstborn, okay? So that's you can't say he already had the seed in him. It's what he mixed with, okay? That's where this fallen seed comes in, okay? Because he was mixing with descendants of the Nephilim. And this is where you get people like your royal families. This is where you get people like, you know, the queen and all these other individuals, okay? So the fallen seed was not already in him. He just mixed his seed with something that wasn't human, which were the Horites. And that's where the seed or the serpent seed was created, because think about it. Esau also took other wives, okay? He took women from, he had a Canaanite wife. He had a woman from Ishmael's stock. None of that was an issue, right? Because Canaan was Hamite, obviously, and then you had Ishmael, who was a Bari, who was a descendant of Abraham, right? But when he mixed with them Horites, bro, that's where it was a problem, because none of these individuals were of Yahuwah's people. And that's where, think about it. He had all these other children, and you don't really hear too much about the sons that he had with those other nations, but you do know about Amalek. Guess who brought forth Amalek? Timnah the Horite, a fallen angel. And that's where you get the Jewish people of today. Why do you think Yahuah said completely destroy Amalek, Saul? Kill them all. Get rid of them. Why? Because they was going to make some more children, and that's why you got the Ashkenazi today. Amalek. Okay? So I want you to understand that it wasn't so much his seed, it was who his seed went into. And that's why I'm telling y'all men out here, not every woman deserves your seed, but the Israelite woman. And that's a fact. But yeah, that's what he did. And that's why things are the way they are. That's why we got so much evil in this world and all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, his seed was fine because he had Hamite wives and all that other stuff. But when he mixed with them Horites, that was the straw that broke the camel's back and brought about the evil serpent seed. Okay, and then we can also talk about the Romans, how he mixed with Rome and all these other things. Okay, but it started with Amalek, which was born from a woman named Timnah the Horite. Facts. Yeah. So he wouldn't even be considered Hebrew anymore because his seed is so spoiled. His seed is so different from what it originally was. He is no longer what we would consider a Bari. And I'm talking about original Esau. Okay? Yes, thank you, family. Please, thank you so much, sis. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like, family. He would not be considered what we would call Hebrew anymore or a Bari because his seed is so spoiled, so polluted, so diluted, he's no longer one of us anymore. So I can't even, I could say, our ancient brother, I could say ancient Ak. But now, when I look at Amalek, when I look at the Caucasoites, right? These people are not our people, family. They are still heathens, right? But they are another stock. But what Esau did by mixing with this Torah, he created a whole new people, a whole new nation. Okay? Which you got the Amalekites, you got, the Edomites, right? You got chocolate Edomites. I talked about the African Edomites. You got, because like I said, he took dark-skinned women. He took Hamite women. He took Ishmaelite women. So there are dark-skinned African Edomites out here too. But they are not of that wicked stock of that fallen seed because they do not come from that fallen seed. And they're still melanated to this day. And they are in Africa right now. There are melanated, chocolate-covered Edomites, facts. There's not just Caucasian ones. But notice one thing, though. It's the white Caucasians, the white Edomites that run everything. Chocolate Edomites ain't got no power. I'm just saying, think about that. There's a distinction, family. There is a distinction. All right, let's keep going, fam. Keep on going.
That challenges us to think beyond the confines of our current understanding. So in the absence of a definitive scientific explanation, the biblical account offers an alternative perspective. The mystery of the Neanderthal gene continues to provoke thought and invite exploration. It is a reminder that our understanding of human evolution is still evolving, much like we are. The biblical narrative doesn't stop with Esau. His descendants, according to the Bible, have spread far and wide. This narrative suggests that the lineage of Esau extends beyond the borders of the ancient Near East, reaching into the distant corners of Asia, the Americas, and Europe. It paints a picture of a world where the descendants of Esau are not singularly represented by Asians, Mexicans, or Europeans, but have intermingled with populations across the globe. Imagine a tapestry woven with threads of diverse colors and textures. Each thread represents a different nation, a distinct people, and the varied strands of Esau's lineage are intertwined within this vast, complex weave. Over the course of history, these
And I'm going to stop the video here and there because I don't want them to think I'm not educating you, right? As long as it's presented as educational content, I can stop the video and play the whole thing through without having a problem. But I'm going to show you guys a video on the agenda of mixing because I think y'all need to understand this, family. I don't want you guys diluting your seed, diluting who you are, diluting your bloodline because you've been programmed. You've been brainwashed by the media. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a video on that in a minute, because I'm telling you, family, this interracial stuff is to breed out Negroes. Okay, so they can get your birthright. It's deep. Just keep that in mind.
Threads have become so intermingled that it's nearly impossible to separate them, creating a rich, intricate pattern of human ancestry. The narrative also draws a stark contrast between native populations and those we see today. It suggests that the indigenous peoples of the world, those living in harmony with their lands long before the advent of modern civilization, have been overshadowed, their stories often lost or forgotten in the annals of history. These native populations, rich in culture and tradition, have been largely replaced or assimilated by the descendants of Esau, according to the biblical account. This shift in power dynamics, this replacement of native populations with modern ones, can be seen in the historical record, from the conquests of Alexander the Great to the colonial era to the present day. The narrative of Esau's descendants spreading and mixing with all nations is reflected in the ebb and flow of empires, the rise and fall of civilizations. This account provides an intriguing view on the distribution of races around the world. It's a perspective that invites us to consider the complex interplay of history, culture, and genetics in shaping the world as we know it today. It's a narrative that, whether you subscribe to it or not, adds another layer of complexity to our understanding of human ancestry and the interconnectedness of all peoples. The biblical narrative suggests that Esau's descendants have had a significant impact on the world. Their influence, it seems, extends far beyond their initial proliferation and has shaped the socio-political landscape of our planet in subtle and not so subtle ways. The descendants of Esau are believed to be embedded in the fabric of our society. They are the leaders, the governors, the presidents, and the rich. This belief is not merely a speculation, but a perspective that is deeply rooted in historical and biblical narratives. For instance, let's take the story of the European invaders in America. It's a tale that echoes the narrative of Esau's descendants. These individuals, believed to be descendants of Esau, journeyed across vast oceans, arriving on a land inhabited by a vibrant indigenous population. However, the arrival of these invaders marked a significant turning point in the history of the continent. The Europeans, much like Esau's descendants, established themselves as the new leaders of the land. They took control of the territories, transforming the socio-political landscape in ways that still resonate today. The native population was pushed into the shadows, their voices often drowned out by the overwhelming might of the invaders. The new leaders, the governors, the presidents, and the rich were now the descendants of Esau.
Okay, so you see, this is what I said. You see a lot of what this man is saying. And family, as I said before, I didn't even know about this video when I was making this movie. Okay, I just did like a whole week worth of research, put the video together to make the documentary for you guys. But you can see that, the Bible says that 2 or more witnesses are all matters established. And as I said in that movie, I said a lot of these world leaders, a lot of them are all Esau. Trump, you know what I'm saying? Macron, Obama, Hillary Clinton, all of them. I don't care if you Republican, I don't care if you Democrat. All of these people in power are all the serpent seed. They are all Edomites. And when you look at somebody like Obama, yeah, he's from that fallen bloodline for real. Oh, he definitely from that fallen bloodline, which is why I told you got melanated, you know what I'm saying, fallen bloodline too. Mostly Caucasoid, all right? But there are some melanated ones as well. Facts. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Reshaping the continent in their image. This narrative of the European invaders in America is but one example of the supposed impact of Esau's descendants. It is an echo of a pattern that has repeated itself in various forms and in various places across the globe. From the corridors of power in modern nations to the wealth that fuels the global economy, the descendants of Esau have left their mark. This narrative paints a fascinating picture of...
Let me correct you. Obed-Edom was not a Levite. He was given the ability of what the Levites do, which is to carry the ark. But he was actually a Philistine. He was a Hamite. He was not actually a Levite by bloodline. He would not have been, because Levites, in order to be Levite, you have to be a full blood Levite. I mean, your dad got to be a Levite and your mom got to be a Levite. So the Levites were not, or I would say that Obed Edom or Abad Adum was not he was not a Levite. He just was given that ability to carry the ark, but he was not a bloodline Levite though.
The influence of Esau's descendants on the world? It's a tale of power, of transformation, and of a lineage that has, according to the biblical narrative, shaped the world as we know it today.
Ever wondered if white people could possibly be the lepers from the Bible? Quite the thought, isn't it? This intriguing question is more than just a conversation starter. It's a probe into the mysteries of our human past, a journey through biblical narratives and a scientific exploration of genetics and disease. It's a question that may lead us to rethink our understanding of history, race, and biology. Let's delve into this, shall we? Leprosy is a condition that has been around since biblical times, a disease that has left an indelible imprint on human history. This condition, known in medical parlance as Hansen's disease, is characterized by symptoms that are both physical and systemic. It has the potential to cause sores that eat away at the limbs and facial features, sometimes leaving the individual handicapped and disfigured. The disease attacks the skin, cartilage, and bone, causing parts or all of the body to turn white, pale, or even acquire a pinkish hue. In some instances, it even causes the hair to turn blonde or light in color, and the eyes to adopt hues of any color but black or dark brown. But leprosy's impact is not merely skin deep. It also wreaks havoc on the immune system, leaving the...
Okay, so do y'all see why leprosy would make you unclean? Do you see? See, they done lied to you. They done sat there and told us that leprosy is, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, basically like cysts in the skin. Nah, bro. It was straight up paleness. Okay? Straight up paleness, gang. All right? That's why Yahuah said these people are unclean. Okay? And he made laws to separate us from them. Okay? Matter of fact, let's go through these leprosy laws real quick while we're looking at some stuff. And I'm going to show you this next clip before we continue. Dang, I said that this wasn't going to be a long lesson, but I have a feeling it's going to be longer than I thought it was going to be. So let's look at these leprosy laws, gang. And we're going to look in the Septuagint, of course. So let's go to Leviticus, or Uyakara 13. And let's look at these leprosy laws, family. Even if you have blonde hair, bro, yellow hair, you were considered unclean. Okay, let's look at this. Yeah, it gets pretty crazy. So let's go to Septuagint here. We're going to get the original text. Okay, so let's look at this. Let me zoom in. All right. So this is Leviticus 13. And Yahuah spoke unto Masha and Aharon, saying, if any man should have in the skin of his flesh a bright, clear spot, and there should be any skin of his flesh a plague of leprosy, he shall be brought to Aaron the priest, or to one of his sons the priest, right? And the priest shall view the spot in the skin of his flesh, and if the hair in the spot be changed to white, and the appearance of the spot be below the skin of the flesh, it is a plague of leprosy, and the priest shall look upon it and pronounce him unclean. But if the spot be clear and white in the skin of his flesh, yet the appearance of it be not yellow below, deep below the skin, and if the hair not change itself for white hair, but it is dark, then the priest shall separate him. Okay, so white skin made you unclean. Do you see what it says? Okay, white skin made you unclean. So let's just say you had Caucasians walking around, you know what I'm saying, the Israelites. They wouldn't want to be nowhere around you because they know what leprosy says in the Torah, and that made you considered to be unclean. But yet these people told us we curse with black skin and all of that, but it looked to me like leprosy was a curse. And it was. I mean, we know what happened to Miriam. We know what happened to Gehazi. Leprosy, white skin, facts. Let's keep going. Let's keep reading this. And the priest shall look upon the spot the seventh day, and behold, if the spot remains before him, the spot is not spread in the skin, then the priest shall separate him the second time 7 days. And the priest shall look upon him the second time on the seventh day, and behold, if the spot be dark, and the spot have not spread in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. So if you have a dark spot on your skin, right, and it's not white, then you can, and it hasn't spread throughout your body, then you can be considered clean, okay? Seeing dark skin made you be considered clean. White skin made you considered to be unclean. Okay? Let's keep going. But if the bright spot should have changed and spread in the skin after the priest has seen him for the purpose of purifying him, then shall he appear at the second time to a priest. And the priest shall look upon him, and behold, if the mark has spread in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is leprosy. And if a man have a plague, in other words, a disease of leprosy, then he shall come to the priest. Okay, so the sons of Aaron, sons of Moses, they were priests. Therefore, they would oftentimes check to make sure if the person had leprosy, you had white skin, you had, blonde hair, you had white hair, or little tufts of white, you know what I'm saying, in your skin, they would be brought to the priest, the royal priesthood, the high priest, and they would look at it and examine it. And if you looked like you was breaking out, they would separate you, and you would be considered unclean. The congregation wouldn't be around you. They wouldn't want to talk to you. They wouldn't want to deal with you. They would just separate you from everybody else. Okay? We have to be talking about dark-skinned people in order for this to be applicable. Okay? Just saying. And the priest shall look, and behold, if it is a white spot in the skin, and it has changed the hair to be white, and there be some of the sound part of the quick flesh in the sore, it is a leprosy waxing old in the skin of the flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall separate him, because he is unclean. So not only did leprosy make your skin turn white, it also made your hair turn white. Now, I ain't talking about like if you were older, you were elder, right? You a Negro, and you know what I'm saying, you start to get some gray hair and stuff like that because you're getting older, right? There was plenty of Negroes and elders in Yasharal's time, the ancient Yasharelim, that had, obviously white hair because they got older, but their hair was originally black. It had nothing to do with leprosy, okay? So just because you're getting a little frost in your fro, right? Just because you're getting a little bit of frost in your beard doesn't necessarily mean you was unclean, because they would also look to see if your skin is turning white, okay? That right there, my friends, would be leprosy. So if you're a dark-skinned Negro with a frosted fro, a frosted beard, but you were still dark-skinned, you were not considered unclean. The biggest benefactor to them knowing whether you had leprosy or not was your skin turning white, okay? That was how they were able to tell if we're dealing with leprosy here, okay? Facts. All right, let's keep going. I know this truth ain't easily received by some people, but you know what? Y'all don't lie too dang much. All right, the heathens wouldn't lie. We wouldn't be able to bring these things out. Leviticus 13:12, and if the leprosy should have come out very evidently in the skin, and the leprosy should cover all the skin of the patient from the head to the feet, wheresoever the priest shall look, then the priest shall look, and behold, the leprosy has covered all the skin of the flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him clean of the plague, because it has changed all to white, it is clean. So, if a person has leprosy, and the leprosy spreads all throughout the body where there is no white speckles, they would be considered clean, because the leprosy has kind of completed. So if you ended up becoming full on white through leprosy, you would be pronounced clean as long as there's no speckles left. Okay? So, but at the moment that there was a sign of you having white breaking out in your skin or turning pale, they would separate you to see if it's going to spread or not, or if it's just little spots and little speckles spreading throughout your skin. So let me show y'all what I'm talking about. I'll give you a little bit of a visual aid here. So what you would call vitiligo is true leprosy. Let's look at this real quick. Let's look at this. All right. So like something like this, right? If you look at this man's hands here, this would make him unclean because of these spockles of white. Okay. We're talking about dark-skinned people. Now, don't let the Caucasians sit there and tell you this is what we're talking about. No, we're talking about Negroes who are created, melanated, dark-skinned people that started to see their hands, their face. Something like this would also be considered leprosy, okay? Making a person unclean, all right? Because she's obviously a dark-skinned Negro woman, but she's starting to spread, the leprosy is starting to spread throughout her body. You feel what I'm saying? So she would be separated from us. Okay, this man or this woman, I'm not sure what, would be separated from us because they would be considered unclean. This woman right here, this black woman, okay, this right here is also unclean. Okay, this right here, unclean. Okay, This is a black man. Look at that. You see? Unclean. But he's almost completely white. So once he's completely white and there is no speckles left on his body, then he can be considered clean. But eventually he doesn't turn white. Okay? But this is not by means of you know what I'm saying, genetic mutation. It's just it's a plague. Okay? And we know plagues from Yahuah ain't a good thing. All right? This also would be considered unclean. This right here. So you got different types of vitiligo. This man right here definitely would be considered unclean. Okay? You see how, you know, it's really spreading on him. And you can see he's a Negro. He's clearly a Negro, right? But this right here would be considered also unclean family. Okay? So what we're reading in the Torah, what we're reading in the scriptures, we're understanding what that would look like. We're understanding how they would be able to determine if a person actually 100% was either, you know what I'm saying, it was spreading, or if it was just a breakout, or however it was dealt with. Okay? It was nothing about discrimination against our people or nothing like that, but it was considered a plague. It was considered something that was not a good thing. Okay? And it was very, you know, I mean, according to the separation of all things, because it was, you know, they were considered unclean, they had to separate them. Now, we're going to get back to the video, but I want to show you guys this video. Yexer teaching MJ had this happen to him, the first in his heritage to get that. Yeah, that is true, sis. MJ, Michael Jackson, he had this. And if you look at Michael Jackson, he would have been considered unclean, okay? Because you'll notice he had these spots all over his body, okay? This is the Michael Jackson that they didn't want you to see. That's why he was always wearing those gloves, because he was breaking out. Now, I'm not going to lie, bro. This is a huge transformation from a Negro with woolly hair to turning into a dang Caucasian woman. Okay, because that's what he looked like. I ain't disrespecting him. I love his music. He's talented. He's a Yahudi, but it's just what he became later on, trying to get in certain circles. I think he became compromised. I'm just going to be honest. But if you look here, I guess if you really look closely, you can see he's breaking out a little bit here. Okay. Now, I'd venture to say maybe it got something to do with the industry, right? We know that they can put stuff in his drink. They can put stuff in, you know, because you can't have a black man, right, dominating the charts, dominating every genre, dominating and being the face of what we think of as musical excellency. Oh wait, my bad. I didn't share the screen. So look, if you look right here, you can see little Michael. And you can see a little bit of that white showing up on his body, okay? And as he got older, it started to spread. Idiot Maccabee says, "Is it contagious?" I'm gonna check that out for you because I'm actually curious too. Considering the fact Yahuah had laws for separating ourselves from these people that were leprous, I'm wondering if it was. We're gonna look that up in a second, sis. But you can see here, look at this, look at the blotches, okay? You see the blotches on him. All right. And like I said, this is why he wore gloves. And then you notice also another thing that was interesting about Michael Jackson is he couldn't handle the sun. Okay. Let's look at that. Michael Jackson, you'd always see him when he became like fully white, basically. You always saw him with an umbrella and he couldn't handle the sun. Okay. Let me see. Michael Jackson. Look at that. You are always seeing him with an umbrella. Why? He couldn't handle the heat. Now, we are talking about an Afrocentric, 100% fully black parents, full-blood Yahudi that could not handle the sun. But you notice that it really was more serious towards his elderly, you know, the older he got. When he was a child, he was outside. You feel what I'm saying? He was outside. But this was something that was affecting him later in his life, which is why I say, look at that. All these images of him with an umbrella. It's hot outside. It ain't raining. Okay? So leprosy, I think, makes people very sensitive to the light. Now, I'm not saying this is the case with everybody, right? I'm not saying this is the case with everybody that has this condition. But it looks like that's what was affecting him. And I do believe he was trying to bleach his skin to get in certain circles and, you know, things like that. I wouldn't put that past him. Okay. Now, we're going to look at this video about mixing, and we're going to go back to the fallen angel thing because I think y'all need to pay attention. All right? There is an agenda to this. And if you can't see it, you don't want to see it. But you're going to learn today. Here we go. Oh, no sound? Hold on, gang. Hold on, y'all. Y'all said there was no sound. Hold on. Let me fix it. Let me fix it. I got you. I got you. Okay, here we go.
Notice, if you will, the half-caste child. And there are ever increasing numbers of them. Now, what is to happen to them? Are we to allow the creation of an unwanted third race? Should the coloreds be encouraged to go back to the black? Or should they be advanced to white status and be absorbed in the white population? Now, time and again, I am asked by some white man, if I marry this colored person, will our children be black? And as chief protector of Aborigines, it is my responsibility to accept or reject those marriages. Here is the answer. 3 generations. Half-blood grandmother, quadroon daughter, octoroon grandson. Now, as you can see in the 3rd generation, or 3rd cross, no trace of native origin is apparent. The continuing infiltration of white blood finally stamps out the black color.
Okay, you hear what he's telling you. Family, they put the truth in the movies all the time. All right? Stop mixing with these people. I'm serious. I know I say it a lot, but y'all don't listen. And then you had this, you know what I'm saying, this tap dancing Negro go on a podcast with what's his name? Adam 22, talking about, oh, I'm trying to put my people on the white women. Oh, marry the white woman. Oh man, y'all need to get with a white woman. Something's wrong with y'all, bro, because y'all have been brainwashed by this media. Because y'all see these Negro rappers, you know what I'm saying, over here laid up with these, you know, the basketball players and a lot of these Negroes, you know what I'm saying, marrying these white women and stuff like that. And you think the grass is greener on the other side, okay? Pretty soon, it ain't going to be many of y'all Negroes out here left if y'all don't listen and y'all keep doing what you're doing. Because you are really in transgression against the Most High, whether you believe it or not, all right? Even the people from the Northern Kingdom in Africa will tell you that mixing with these other nations is a sin. They've been keeping Torah longer than we've been alive, family. And they know that these people right here will be what you would call unclean. Okay? And I'm not just talking about them. I'm talking about other nations, period.
The Aboriginal has simply been bred out. Now, we come to the Moore River Native Settlement. Ladies, most of you are familiar with our work here, the training of domestic servants and farm laborers. I would like to thank you for your continuing support. Hundreds of half-caste children have been gathered up and brought here to be given the benefit of everything our culture has to offer. For if we are to fit and train such children for the future, they cannot be left as they are. And in spite of himself, the native must be helped.
Okay, so there, you know, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. These mixed children, they are, you know what I'm saying? I already did a teaching on it, man. But, I mean, there is no excuse. And like I said, to those of y'all who might have had children with these other nations because you didn't know, now that you know, you better do better. Stop having these bastard-ass children. Okay, stop doing that. Because, obviously, there is a fallen seed out here. All right, there are some people out here who ain't fully human, who ain't really, you know what I'm saying, what you would consider human. And I'm not saying that to be mean. It's just a fact off of what we're looking at with science and all of this stuff, even though I'm not no fan of science, right? If it can back up what the Bible says, I'm okay with it. But there is no excuse, family. I don't care who you are, all right? At this moment, as an Israelite or as Yahuah's people, to be mixing with these other nations and having bastard children, okay? There is no excuse. Like I said, maybe you didn't know at the time, and you did it. Now that you know who you are, and now that you're watching this video, if you choose to accept this or not, that's going to be your judgment, not mine. My hands are cleansed. Your blood is not on my hands because I warned you. And I showed you what their agenda is. You don't want to see it? You know what? That's between you and the Most High. But I'm going to tell you right now, he don't like it. Period. Okay? Okay. All right, let's get back to this. Now, Idiom Maccabee Jones asked me, is leprosy contagious? Yes, it is. It actually is. I looked it up while we were watching that video. Take a look at this. Is leprosy contagious? Yes, leprosy is contagious, but it's not highly contagious. It's not spread through casual contact. Leprosy is spread through prolonged close contact with an untreated person. So now we can understand why Yahuah would separate them from us. Okay? Why he didn't, they had to be in a separate section. Let's keep going. With an untreated person who has the disease, it is likely spread through airborne droplets from an infected person's cough or sneeze, or through contact with their nasal discharge. Oh my gosh. Oh, Father. Help. I'm over here looking at my skin, bro. I'm just trying to make sure I ain't got no white spots anywhere. I'm like really examining my skin right now to make sure there ain't nothing there. I'm looking at it like I'm just trying to make sure, family. I'm like, whoa. How contagious it is. Leprosy is less contagious than other infectious diseases. More than 95% of the population has a natural immunity to the disease. People at greater risk of getting leprosy include family members of an infected person who isn't being treated. Children, siblings, and parents are at the highest risk. Okay? Leprosy is treated with antibiotics and other medicines. Once treatment begins, the disease becomes non-infectious. Leprosy is also known as Hansen disease, a rare chronic bacterial disease that affects the skin and nerves in the hands and feet. Symptoms include light-colored or red skin patches, numbness, weakness, and reduced sensations in the hands and in the feet. Oh, boy. Oh, Yummy over here talking about that Ronald I. You're contagious, touch me. Yeah. Shabbat Shalom, sis. All praises to the Most High. Good to see you. So, yeah, family. It's pretty cut and dry. Yeah. Now, like I said, they want you to believe that this thing is more so just just like diseases and stuff breaking out in your skin, but it's deeper than that. Now, we're going to come back to the video because I got other articles I want to show you, all right? So let's look at this first one. This is from Harvard School, okay? Again, I've got receipts, all right? So this is from Harvard, as you can see, harvard.edu, and let's see what it says. The not-so-secret life of our inner Neanderthal. Now, I can't say our because that ain't got nothing to do with us, but let's keep reading. Neanderthal Homo sapiens, SEX, doesn't matter. It says the sequencing of the complete Neanderthal genome in 2010 by Svante Pavo's group at Max Planck Institute of Evolutionary Anthropology revealed that modern humans shared about 2% of their genome with Neanderthals, a number that has since been corroborated by a second, more precise Neanderthal genome sequence by the group in 2014. Interestingly, only living Europeans and Asians, but not Africans, have Neanderthal DNA. Because modern humans are thought to have originated in Africa, scientists surmise that early Homo sapiens encountered and inbred with the Neanderthals about 40,000 to 80,000 years ago. As I said, chew up the meat, spit out the bones. As they expand out of Africa into Europe and Asia, where the Neanderthals ranged, okay? The Caucasus. All right? Interbreeding between Homo sapiens and the early hominid species. For the purpose of clarity, interbreeding between Neanderthals, Denisovans, and a putative unknown hominid species are not shown here because only one fossil of Denisovans and the bone of a pinky has been found so far in Siberia. It is unclear where and how Denisovans ranged and where they first encountered early humans. However, scientists think that they were at least parts of Asia, since Melanesians carry 5% of Denisonian DNA in their genomes. Since then, researchers have sought to determine the impact of these Neanderthal genetic remnants on people today. Earlier work suggested that some of the genes inherited from Neanderthals and other archaic humans are involved in coping with ultraviolet radiation and the function of our immune system. However, no one has yet looked systematically at the identity of these Neanderthal genes across the entire human genome and across a large swath of extant human populations. That is, until now. Okay, so even in like these Harvard studies, they're saying that people who are non-Africans have Neanderthal DNA. Now, listen, 2%, that's cap. I don't believe that for not even a second. I believe it's way higher than that. Way higher than that. Let's keep going. So this is thoughtcode.com, and it says how a genetic mutation led to the white race. Okay? And this is more evidence here. It says, imagine a world where everyone had brown or dark skin. Tens of thousands of years ago, that was the case. Chew up the meat, spit out the bones. Says scientists at Pennsylvania State University. So how did white people get here? The answer lies in the tricky component of evolution known as genetic mutation out of Africa. Scientists have long known that Africa is the cradle of human civilization. There, our ancestors shed most of their body hair around 2 million years ago. Well, actually, we never had body hair to begin with. I'm just saying. And their dark skin protected them from skin cancer and other harmful effects of UV radiation. When humans began leaving Africa, a skin whitening mutation appeared randomly in a sole individual, according to a 2005 Penn State study. That mutation proved advantageous as humans moved into Europe. Why? Because it allowed the migrants increased access to vitamin D, which is crucial to absorbing calcium and keeping bones strong. Sun intensity is great enough in equatorial regions that the vitamin can still be made in dark-skinned people. People, despite the ultraviolet shielding effects of melanin, explains Rick Weiss of the Washington Post, which reported on the findings. But in the north, where sunlight is less intense and more clothing must be worn to combat the cold, melanin's ultraviolet shielding could have been a liability. Now, they want to tell you that this is just some random thing that happened, but that's not the truth. There's nothing random about this mutation. And we already know you got to factor in the Bible when you're looking at this for real. You got to factor in the Bible when you're looking at these scriptures and you're understanding what they're actually trying to tell you. Because, I mean, they're not, I think that there's some biblical understanding that's being applied to this, but not completely. You know what I'm saying? And y'all know me, family. I stand on what the word of Yahuah says. You know what I'm saying? And we are not known to be, you know what I'm saying, very hairy individuals. Now, you got some Negroes who are hairy. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. There are some who are like that. But that's not every one of us, okay? That's not every one of us. And usually it's because of mixing and things of that nature, okay? Which is why I say we shouldn't be doing that. All right, let's keep going. Now we're going to go back over here to these scriptures here about Yahuah and Yahusha, all right? And we'll get back to the video in a second. All right. So we read about Yahuah in Daniel chapter 7, verse 9. Now let's look at Kanuk or Enoch, and let's see what it says, if it echoes what this says right here. There I beheld the Ancient of Days, whose head was white like wool, which his hair was as pure wool. Okay, you know that Masoretic text changes things. And with him, whose countenance resembled that of a man, his countenance was full of grace like that of one of the Kadash angels. Then I inquired of one of the angels who went with me and who showed me every secret thing concerning the Son of Man, who he was, whence he was, and why he accompanied the Ancient of Days. Actually, it's talking about Yahusha. Salaki. It's talking about Yahusha right here. Kanuk 70:12 or 71:12 talks about Yahuah. With them was the Ancient of Days, whose head was like wool and pure, and his robe was indescribable. And then, of course, Kazoo in Revelations 1:14, and his head and hair were white, or white as wool, as white as snow, and his eyes as a flame as fire. And his feet were like burnished brass, as if refined in a furnace, and his voice is the sound of many waters. Now, we're going to look up this word burnished brass in the Greek, okay? Because it actually gives us a way better understanding of what this is actually talking about, okay? So here we are, and we're looking up this word. The word here is Kobalan. Listen, y'all know I'm not good with Greek. I'm good with Abari, but I am not good with Greek. The heathen stuff, I can't do it. But let's look at this, because if you look here, the word for what they call burnished brass in the Greek would actually be burnished copper, okay? So let's have a look at what burnished copper looks like so we can better understand what they're describing Yahusha as looking like. All right, so let me pull this up here. Give me a second. So look at this. This right here is burnished copper, okay? Not burnished brass, burnished copper. This is the complexion Yahusha HaMashiach was, family, okay? This is an accurate representation of what HaMashiach's skin would look like. And in case you need another example, this right here is a burnt copper finished box, okay? And you can see it's more of a darker brownish hue. This is what we're talking about with Hamashiach. So when you break it down in the Greek, it actually describes copper. Kappa. Okay? All right. Now, I got a few more things I want to show you guys, but we're going to stop it right here, family, because I want to do a part 2 to this. I definitely want to do a part 2 to this video. So we're going to just end it right here, family. All right, I know this was very in-depth, but there's way more I want to show you. All right? There's way more I want to show you, but I don't have time to show you everything because I don't have everything ready. But I wanted to start a new series and introduce this to you guys about, are we really made in Yahuwah's image? So we're going to do a part 2. We're going to get into more scriptures. We're going to look at the Septuagint. We're going to look at these Abari words. We're going to look at all of that. Okay? But we're going to stop it right here because I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but we will definitely be doing a part 2. We will also be back tomorrow for Shabbat, the Shabbat teaching on a closer look at Deuteronomy 28. So we're going to just stop it right there, family. I appreciate everybody that's here. Please be sure to hit the like button on your way out. All praises to the Most High. I love you guys, and shalom.
Hey, Yexer.
Abba Yahuah, this an honest discussion. Not worthy of your grace when I reject your instruction. Why do you love me, Father, often feeling unworthy? Still struggle with my flesh, but you still show me mercy. My family not there, I see the love that you show me. Consider suicide just to be with you closely. My mother doesn't love me and we've all made mistakes. And to her I'm not good enough, I'm just a disgrace. I'm not a perfect man, yeah I'm flawed and will fall. But you look beyond my faults and the assault of my thoughts. And I wasn't born righteous, I was born as a sinner. Satan had me in his grasp, he's a horn-shaped shifter. Sick and tired of the struggle, sick and tired of oppression. Await the reign of Jacob, the inheritance of blessings. Yahuwah, my Father, honest is all I can be. Why do you truly love me? Cause within I can't see. Yeah, these nations all hate us, yeah, it's true and apparent. Since I'm speaking honestly, let me be transparent. These Gentiles hate us cause of what we'll inherit. They fear the black Messiah, they think it's so nightmarish. I hate Babylon, America, one day she'll burn. The Jewish stole our heritage, one day they gon' learn. Father, know what you said, I believe what you promised. But your people are so tired of being impoverished. No matter what we do, we just can't get ahead. And so many of our people locked up or they dead. And this world hates your people and deny the oppression. And they sure don't want the curses, but they want all the blessings. Now they mad that we fighting back, they fear the oppression. We'll never forget the evil and we learned a harsh lesson. They teaching to the masses that the Christians replace us. Judgment coming to the heathens, not the ones who embrace us. I'm coming to you humbly, this an honest discussion. You promise to avenge us and you promise destruction. It's an honest discussion. Honest discussion. I'm coming to you humbly, this an honest discussion. You promise to avenge us and you promise destruction. It's an honest discussion. It's an honest discussion.
Hey, Yaxer.
Honest with you, honest.